Hello VC, Olivier coming up for a new video. This video is really a special video because it will be a video about jazz, and for those who follow my channel you will probably understand that I don't know a lot in jazz, but recently I bought a collection of more or less 100 records, and that gave me the opportunity to get more into jazz. Again, not an expert from far, so I would really appreciate all your comments, right? Give me some comments on the quality of the records, on the rarity of the record or whatever. And yeah, that will definitely help me to understand a bit more what I acquired. From the 100 records, I took more or less the top 40 based on Discog ratings and comments that I have seen. And again, the first track I will show you is several labels. There is here as well some grails, which I listen to, which are good records, but as well are quite expensive records. And then I have another stack, which is some Blue Note records, where I have Blue Notes from the 60s, from the 70s, and as well some from the 80s. So to start with, two records which make a bit an exception because they are not jazz records, but they were with the same collection. First one is Negro Prison Songs, which is a recording done by Alan Lomax in the late 50s, and it's a recording of the Mississippi State Penitentiary. So it's kind of more blues. It's really song. There is no music. It's really songs, but it's really good record. And again, for those who know Alan Lomax, he did different recording in the 50s, I think maybe early 60s, still on blues, country blues mainly, right, in different states in the US, in the south of the US, obviously, mainly. Next record is more of a soul record. It's Bobby Womack, Fly Me to the Moon, which I think is fairly difficult to find as well. It comes on this Minute Liberty record, and it's an original, and they are all in decent shape. Next one, I listened to it, I really liked it. It's Yusef Lateef, which is Latitude 42, 30, Longitude 83. That's the title of the album. It comes on this Atlantic label, and it's a really, really solid and really nice album. I really like this one. Next one, we come more to the 50s jazz, J&K on this Savoy label. Then another 50s record, Carmen McRae. It's a 10-inch, and it comes as well. Oh no, that's a different. It's a Bethlehem label. Never heard about that before. Next one, Paula Greer, and this comes on the Workshop Jazz label, which I understand is as well a really renowned label for jazz. Then I have Eddie Higgins Trio, Sulero, and that comes on this nice Atlantic green and blue label. So that's an early Atlantic pressing. Next one, the Joe Quartet Quintet, Abstract. Then coming back as well to the 50s, that's Illinois Jacquet. I will show you another record from Illinois Jacquet later on that comes on Clay Records. And the other one I think is more difficult to find, but this one as well, in this condition at least, is probably not easy to find. Next one, Miles Davis in concert, and that comes on the Columbia label. Mingus Dynasty comes on the Columbia Six Eyes label. The next one is again Workshop Jazz record label, and it's a George Bohannon Quartet, and that's more bossa nova. Then I come back to the 50s, and this one, according to Discog, are pretty difficult to find. So you have Press and Suites from Lester Young, and it comes on this Norgran Records yellow label, really nice label, and it's in super clean condition. It's a near mint record all around. Next one as well, near mint, Illinois Jacket and Ben Webster, and this one is the one I said to you before, which sounds, you know, as well difficult to find on, and definitely in this condition, right, on Clay Records and near mint as well. Then I come with the two apparently, you know, kind of more difficult and grail, Roy Brooks bit, and this comes as well on his Workshop Jazz label. A really nice album, I must say. And last one, which I was really surprised to see the price these records are going for. It's a record from Chet Baker, and yeah, I'm not sure if there is a title. It's Ballads by Chet Baker, but it's the first mono press, US press original, in, I would say, VG plus condition. There is one mark on it, which I would say took it from near mint to VG plus. It's a strong mark, but you don't hear it when you listen to the record, which is fine. And apparently, again, this one can go for, yeah, in this condition, apparently $500-600, right? That's what Discog says, at least, yeah. Then we come to the Blue Note part of the collection. First one, Lee Morgan, the Sidewalker, or the Sidewinder, sorry. And that's a reissue from the 60s. Then I have Kenny Cox and the Contemporary Jazz Quintet. And the same, that's Blue Note record from the 60s. Then a new perspective from Donald Byrd Band and Voices. I really like Donald Byrd. I had already a record from him, and yeah, I really like it. I mean, that's a Blue Note record as well, but that's the labels that they did more in the 70s. Then another Donald Byrd, which is Bird in Hand, and this one is a reissue from the 80s on this DMM Blue Note. They did that in the 80s. I think it's DMM stands for I think Direct Master, Metal Master Recording, something like that, right? So, but yeah, it's a really nice album as well. Then still on this 80s DMM Blue Note, Delightfully Morgan, which is Lee Morgan. Another Lee Morgan, the Gigolo, and that's as well an 80s Blue Note record. I understand that in the 80s they were putting here the finest in jazz since 1939, right? So that was what they were writing on the record, I think, in the 80s. Then I'm coming back to a 60s issue of something else from Cannonball Adderley. So yeah, I mean, there is really great artists and renowned artists here. You have Miles Davis, Hank Jones, Sam Jones, Art Blakey, and yeah, some really great artists. So really nice record as well. I think these ones are difficult to find from what I have seen online. Then Art Blakey and the Jazz Messenger, and this as well is the 70s Blue Note label with the black you know, B, right? Because you will see some of the record have a white B, some have a black B, so it depends on the period as well, I think, from what I understand. Next one, again, 60s, I think that was probably second press, I think, if I remember correctly, of this 6-piece of silver from Horace Silver. And again, this nice Blue Note label from the early 60s, I think, this one, right? And I think, you know, for those who know the labels, but again, I still learn about it, You have here 33 and a third micro groove, long playing. So that's kind of and as well Blue Note Record Inc. and the address in New York. So that's kind of the early press from the 50s and from the early 60s, which had that, from what I understand. But again, correct me if I'm wrong, or give me more details on the labels, because as I said, I mean, it's really new to me. Jazz is new to me, and I had some Blue Notes before, but I never really paid attention. Next one, Lee Morgan Memorial album. Guess it's a kind of compilation. Comes as well on his 70s Blue Note label. Another Donald Byrd from his 70s Blue Note label. A Jazz Messenger at the Café Bohemia Volume 1. I didn't listen to these ones so far. I'm really looking forward for it. And this one comes on the blue label, but with the white B, versus the black B, as we have seen before. Next one is John Coltrane, and that's as well a reissue from the 80s, right? And you see the finest in jazz since 1939, which is exactly what I told you before about the 80s reissue. And obviously, this album from John Coltrane, Blue Train, is quite known. Everybody probably who knows a bit of jazz knows this album. Next one, Hank Mobley, and it comes here on his Blue Note 70s white B label. I didn't listen to this one, but it sounds like it's a great record as well. Next one is Bobby Hutcherson, San Francisco. And that's another variation of the Blue Note label. I think in the early 70s they did some record with this label. I don't think that they did many records, or during, probably was a short period of time where they did these labels, right? So, but yeah, this record as well apparently is not easy to find. Then I have the Ornette Coleman Trio at the Golden Circle, Stockholm. Again on this nice Blue Note label from the 60s. Stanley Turrentine. This one is really in super mint condition. Comes as well again with this label, as I said before, this special label, which I think more probably they did that for 2 years maybe. I don't think they did it much longer. And again, the record is in great condition. Yeah, it was the record owned by a person called Fred Clark, because he wrote that everywhere, right, on all the record, on the label, on the cover. But it's beside that, it's a really great condition. Then Hank Mobley, No Room for Squares, and this one I didn't listen to it so far, but it must be a great album, because if I look here, there is Hank Mobley, there is Lee Morgan, Donald Byrd, Herbie Hancock, which I know as well. I mean, look, many good musicians are probably on this record, so I need really definitely to listen to this one next. Then another Lee Morgan, Search for the New Land. And that's as well his, reissue from the 80s with his DMM label. And here it says Direct Metal Mastering. That's what it means, Direct Metal Mastering. Then I have the Ronnie Lowe, Strangers and Friends. And this one is still sealed, has never been opened, right? So I will definitely open it and listen to it, but that's the way I got it. Then I have Art Blakey and Jazz Messenger, another one, which is still in the shrink but was opened, and that comes as well with his Blue Note and white B. Next one, John Payton, and with this label, it's still a bit wet, I just cleaned them. Which is the 80s or the 60s label, sorry, from Blue Note. Next one, Art Blakey and Jazz Messengers. Again, sounds like he liked Art Blakey or the Jazz Messengers. This one is a bit beat up. It's Lou Donaldson. That's as well an early 60s press, I think. Then I have Ronnie Laws. And to finish, that's another one from Stanley Turen. And what is it? The Look of Love, sounds like. So yeah, that was my lately acquired jazz collection. As I said, more or less 100 records, the over 50 records. I think there are some good ones as well there, but you know, I just wanted to keep the video as short as possible. So as I said at the early beginning, I don't know a lot about jazz, so all comments or directions or anything you can tell me will definitely be really helpful. I hope you like the video. I think, you know, I always like to see your comment. I obviously always enjoy your support, subscribing or giving me a thumbs up. And yeah, looking forward for the next video. See you soon. Bye.